right, Jake Garcia.
Yeah.
I think the comment was made by you. Certainly, correct me if I'm wrong, but that there was a level of surprise when he did not enter the transfer portal at the point that the transfer portal was flooded. Those first couple of days, as it typically is, because people usually know the student athletes know where they're headed and what they're thinking at that point. And at that point, and for now many weeks, he has stayed put in regards to at least not announcing anything. And there's been a bit of a surprise considering that only one quarterback plays that he has stuck around. But now, near the end of the transfer portal period, uh, he has made that decision known.
Yeah. And it wasn't exclusive to him, by the way. It was really, as I take out my old handwritten list, because I love handwritten, there's, I have notes and things. Sometimes I just like to put it on paper, not just like type it and everything. But I was staunchly of the idea, and because on my list that, no, I'm not publishing to you guys, so just deal with it. But I have shared it in one group chat, and then people were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I was like, okay, look, because on my list are both Tyler Van Dyke and Jake Garcia. And they're like, you're not. And I was like, no, I don't think that both of them are going to go. But I was very firmly of the idea that one of those dudes is going to leave. You got a fourth-year guy and a third-year guy. Let me see. 20, 21, 20. No, I'm sorry. You got a fifth-year guy and a fourth-year guy now. Or going into next season, right? Because Garcia, he played during the COVID season. He got, what did he play in 21? No, because Dear King was here. No, yeah, so he'd be a third-year guy. But either way, well, no, because King got hurt, and then Van Dyke started in 21. So that was his freshman year. So 21, 22, 23. So you got a third-year guy and a fourth-year guy. Sorry, I had to, whatever. I woke up from a nap a little bit ago. Brain's still rebooting. You guys will be all right. Either way, you have veteran dudes, towards the end of their tenures in college. And, both of those guys are going to want to play, now. And it's not crazy that, the moment that he says he's coming back, Tyler Van Dyke is your starting quarterback. Like it, love it, hate it, whatever. That's your guy, unless you're getting, no, that's your guy, even if you were to get a Dante Moore, Nico Iamaleava, right? 5-star recruit in this class. Van Dyke is starting the year. Now, it might be a slow transition thing like Kelly Bryant to Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, had we gotten one of those guys. But you're going into the year, and Tyler Van Dyke, if he returns to school, is your starting quarterback from day one. Period. And when that decision was made, and Tyler Van Dyke had standing offers to go a few places, that was really kind of shocking because I didn't think he was coming back, honestly. And then Garcia being like, yeah, no, I'm staying too. Like, what? And look, I get it that he wants to be in Miami. I've seen his father at the tailgate area. I've heard other people, people rushing up to him. Oh, hey, Mr. Garcia, you stay. Because, he's wearing the number 13 Garcia jersey. He, it's his dad, and you had that ESPN feature, so you know what his dad looks like. You know what I mean? And everything. And he's like, nah, yeah, no, Jake's going to stay. Jake's going to stay. It's like, yeah, he's going to stay. But for how long? Because I don't think it's really sustainable that he's going to just sit forever. You know what I mean? So, yeah, when he finally decided to go into the portal yesterday, I think it was. Yeah, that it makes sense because I just really didn't think that both of those dudes were coming back. Whether it was Van Dyke leaving or Garcia leaving. And you can go back and watch the videos, I think, from towards the end of the regular season. Very staunch on that belief. And that, was finally borne out to be true with that move yesterday. So, and with all these players, hey, I wish him the best. I really wish it would have worked out. He was the highest rated recruit at the quarterback position since Kyle Wright in 2003 for Miami. So he's a very talented guy. He's a top 50 overall recruit coming out of, the 17 high schools he played at and everything. On both coasts between California and Georgia. But this is a talented player. And I know it didn't go perfectly. And I know he didn't step in and, just, have 100% completions with, 47 yards per attempt and a, 93% touchdown rate. I get it. But this is still a guy who can play, a high Power 5 level. He can be, a very good player. And I do, wish him the success to see that somewhere else. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it was very crazy that both of those guys said that they were going to come back. And I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. And yesterday it did. So these things happen.
So based on your evaluation, Cam, and from what I remember, it lines up with the evaluation from the scouts, is that coming out of high school, Jake Garcia was a better player with more upside. Now, based on what you've seen, do you still believe that he has more potential, a higher potential skill set, all those things, and he just didn't grasp the offense, the leadership role, all the intangibles that add up to being a polished ACC quarterback versus what Tyler Van Dyke showed us, especially in 2021?
Right. I think that there were tangibles that didn't go his way either. I mean, it's not just it was not just the ephemeral. There were tangible things like he missed throws and he wasn't aware on the field. He turned the ball over repeatedly, things like that. Hadn't gotten the grasp of the offense where you're really. I mean, and everybody doesn't have the ability, but where you're checking out of a bad play into a good one. You know what I mean? Like I want to go, inside zone read or what. It's just like can we check that to a bubble because we had, like he didn't showcase that either. So it was not just the intangible. There were tangible things. He has a strong arm, but I mean, it was lacking when needed. Like if you were to say there's an argument as a recruit, right, that he has a stronger arm than Tyler Van Dyke. Tyler Van Dyke throws an infinitely better deep ball, which a major part of that is arm strength. You got to get that ball, I mean, in the air 40, 50 yards, right? But if you're like, okay, well, this dude has a stronger arm, he should be able to do that. But it doesn't translate that way onto the field for whatever reason, if that's footwork, if that's timing, if that's, whatever. So, I mean, there were the intangible things, but there were definitely the tangible things as well. And I think that, yeah, after a couple years here, obviously there's still a guy in front of him. And I will continue to say this because it was right and it is right. Jake Garcia was the first quarterback off the bench following De'Aaron King in 21 as a true freshman in front of Tyler Van Dyke. So there was a time that the coaching staff even said, hey, this is going to be the next guy, not down the line right now in the HBCU. I think that was the Central Connecticut State game, right? Not HBCU, but, the FCS game, right? So to start that year, bro, well, second game, but you get what I'm saying. But in that season, he was the first quarterback off the bench behind your cemented, demonstrated starter. That didn't happen for happenstance. They didn't come out the middle of nowhere. They didn't, just have a magic 8-ball and say, okay, well, which quarterback should we start? And you go, or, they didn't, whatever, flip a coin or something. Like that was intentional. So that had potential there. And then you're like, okay, well, I'm in front of Van Dyke then because he breaks his ankle. And then, De'Aaron King gets hurt. And then, okay, you're watching the dude that you were in front of on the depth chart now come in and do numbers, take your job. Then he does it again. Well, where he's, and you try to come back, this last year and like kind of make that a competition, and it really wasn't, and things like that. So, it's, I mean, for those who are really seriously rooting for Jake Garcia, obviously it's a bitter pill. But I mean, look, it doesn't work out for every quarterback, not at all. And in Miami, I mean, he had very middling performance. And I think that having to do as much as the quarterback has to do for Miami right now when the other areas of the team are lacking, I think is a bridge too far for Garcia at this moment. But again, I think he's a kid who can play and start in a Power 5, like a middle top end Power 5. I'm not saying he's going to go somewhere and win a national championship, but yeah, he has the talent to be, a quarterback in the top half of a Power 5 team And I wish him the best if that's where he goes, or if he continues the stampede of players going from Miami to SMU to play for Rhett Lashley, then good luck, because Preston Stone is who they're banking on this year, and you got to beat him out if you go that route. But either way, I think that, he does have the potential and the talent to be a good player at the college level, but he has to find a home and really get his performance to the level needed.